And we kind of hook this, turn that thing, let's see how the piston goes. No, turn this crank rod here and then we'll see how piston comes above there. Okay, straight hard. Turn it. Okay, now turn it sideways. You're going to see how if you didn't have the spacer on it, it would go this much further. Okay, because the rod is 5 millimeters longer plus 2 is 7 millimeters. So go ahead and turn it. Watch it go down and up. Okay, see? Now down here, edge right here, but you can see this crank is 2 millimeters farther sticking out. And it's it used to be flush with the edge, but now it's further out this way, and it's further up this way. So it goes around, and it's further out sideways. It's 2 millimeters everywhere further. So it goes up higher and down lower. Now this one is nice. It doesn't come close. The piston doesn't come close to hitting the crank. In fact, the distance there, what is that distance, you think? Let's get a measuring device.
It's 2 millimeter stock, and then we put 5 millimeter.
We're measuring the distance between the piston clearance at the lowest level. Use this here, this side. So what is it? 4 millimeters. 4 point what? 95? 5 millimeters. So if the rod was not 5 millimeters longer, this piston would be hitting by 5/100ths of an inch into the crank here. So it was a good idea to make the stroke a little longer and the crank a little longer too. Not only that, it keeps the same. We're going to take off, put on the spacer. Put the new crank in there, and the new rod is gold colored. It's a knife rod. It's thinner and stronger. Okay. I'm going to put this thing back together now. What do we need to do? Let's go.
Need to pound this down so I can put the washer on next time.
Pound what down?
This pin.
Oh yeah. When we lifted this crank out, it came right out, and the new one didn't want to go in. Put it in the freezer in a plastic bag for about 20 minutes so it gets cold. Then heat up the bearing with a little torch till it just gets too hot to touch, and it slips right in. It's real easy. Okay, next, let's put it back together. Scrape all the edges off with a razor blade so that the Yama bond comes off. Did you get yours cleaned already?
Yeah.
Get all that Yama bond off till it's smooth and shiny. You can rub it off with a cloth too. Fingernails work pretty good. So you get a nice seal. Okay. Check the bearings to see if they're smooth. If they're real glass smooth, they're fine. If they're rough and go bumpity bump every time you go around, you need to take the screws out, knock the bearing out, and put a new one in. I don't know what this one is. What's this for? Is it a balance wheel?
It's on the drive axle.
Okay. This one's a little rough. Not bad though, but I guess it moves around. The roughness goes away. Must be a little piece in there. Okay. Make sure these are all seated in. Oil rod sticking up there. You just leave them in there?
It pressurizes oil onto the right on these gears.
Oh, I see.
top.
Okay, Yama Bond and Q-tips. Put the Yama Bond on the Q-tips and run it around the edge all the way. Don't put too much on because it will squeeze out on the inside and turn hard and make little flaps of rubber that'll break away and get stuck in an oil line hole to the piston, and your piston will go. So you make them real, not very thick, just very slightly, just moist. We'll paint the whole thing. That'll take a little bit. I'm trying to put it back together now. The edges are all coated. Letting them dry for a bit. And then we'll stick the case together. Ready to put this thing back together. The glue is dry.
Okay.
Crank's ready. Okay, what you want to do is have someone hold the rod so it doesn't rotate. This oil line you have to watch out for so it doesn't miss the hole. Okay, let's go. Okay, you're going to drop screws in there. That's too long there. How do you know where they fit? Looks like there's about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch is where they should be sticking out, otherwise they're not the right size. So as long as they're sticking out about 1 finger breadth, that's the right screw for the hole. Let me try one of those. Nope, too short. Nope. Only 2 more. That's it. Okay, screw them down. Okay, we're going to lay out all the tools that we used to put this back together. Okay. Set the electric screwdriver on the lowest torque setting, which is like 2 foot-pounds. So it just puts them into the hole. It doesn't tighten them up at all. That's it. Then we'll torque them down to how many foot-pounds? 8.7 foot-pounds. Oh, don't forget the lone screw over there behind the clutch. These bolts are 8.7 foot-pounds or 104 inch-pounds. Take foot-pounds times 12 and you get inch-pounds. The inch-pound driver is more accurate. We use that a lot. Okay. Yeah, you're setting it all up there. Okay. He's tightening them in a alternating pattern there. Now he's going to torque them down. Tick. When the wrench gives out, then the limit has been reached. It goes click. There it goes. You have to have an inch-pound driver. That'll take care of most everything. And then you can get a good cheap Sears foot-pound driver